I had about 150 shirts and I sold about 15 of them day one. And so it was kind of something where I had to be happy. 15 people wanted to support my business, support my dream. And, I was like, all right, we got to move forward from here. What's up, YouTube? It's Davey. It's been a while, so let's take a walk. Figured it has been quite some time since I have filmed a YouTube video. And every time I film a YouTube series, I leave. And it's something that definitely upsets me. So every time I want to come back, I always feel like I owe an apology to the people who view my stuff and the people who watch my videos. It's a lot of time invested into, consuming the content that I have to create. And I feel like a big thing that always irks me is every time I film a series, I'm like, I'm going to keep on posting. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep posting. And I always say it at the end of the final episode. And this is the third time I have left and not come back. And so I wanted to sort of update everybody on where I have been, what I've been up to, and, just sort of make not necessarily a contract, but like a declaration of the fact that I want to stay and continue posting. It's not easy to film YouTube and post and edit when there's not necessarily any return. I have to film everything myself. I have to record it all using my phone. I have to edit it all myself. And yeah, I could just hire an editor, but it's different. There's certain things that I like to say and talk and yap about. And if that gets cut, I'm not getting my point across, right? So this is going to be one take. I don't plan on cutting anything out of this video, but it's just sort of a, what I have been up to, where I've been, and, what you can look forward to moving forward. So the cause for my return is we are on prep. We are currently just around 10 weeks out from a competition. We will not be doing summer shredding this time around. We're actually going to be doing an NPC show, which is interesting. It'll be a totally different twist than what I'm used to. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm actually going to compete in Classic. So with Classic, obviously your legs are counted. My legs still ain't the best, but they get the job done. So looking forward to hopping on stage and competing in Classic. And when it comes to prep, I'm like, you know what? What better way to start a YouTube journey again than when on prep? And, there's probably certain people who watch my YouTube videos that are like, oh boy, he's going to film a prep series and abandon us again at the end of the series. I am truly, truly hoping that is not the case. It might happen. I have no idea what the end of prep is going to do to my mental health and, how it'll affect me with bodybuilding. It's always a questionable thing. So where I've been, what I've been up to, I have been up to a lot. This zip up that I'm wearing is actually my own brand. So for those who do not follow me on other social media pages, or if you are new and stumbled across this video due to the algorithm blessing me, I own a company called Luxius. So I started Luxius last year. We launched in April of 2025. And this has been sort of the number one thing that I have been doing the past probably year and a half, 2 years since I've posted on YouTube. And I've obviously been working full-time as a trainer / coach to fund this clothing brand. Put a lot of time and effort, finances, and just a lot of stuff into getting the brand off the ground and up and running. It is not cheap to start your own business. I've probably put around $20,000 into the brand, truthfully, of my own money. And I probably would have already moved out and had my own place by now if I chose not to start my own brand. But I have bigger dreams than the average person, and I want to be an entrepreneur and do things on my own. So, started the brand last year, worked my little butt off after, prep had finished. I kind of had this mindset of, okay, what can we do? Maybe I'll do a powerlifting competition because then I could film that. The video is not going to be as shaky as this. Mind you, I'm walking towards a nice little bench to kind of sit down on and chat with y'all. So anyways, I kind of came up with this idea of like, okay, let's do a powerlifting competition. So I got back into powerlifting a little bit. This is 2024. This is right after Summer Shredding, the finale episode. So got into powerlifting, and very quickly after, my hip was killing me. I've had this hip problem since about 2022, and deadlifting and lifting heavy, training hard, did not feel too good. So it's kind of detracted me from competing in powerlifting. And, Christmas came around. I had probably, in my opinion, the best Christmas I've had to date in 2024. It was full circle. The year prior, I had basically the worst Christmas you could even imagine. As we know, my mental health the last time I was on YouTube was just in shambles because of the breakup. And I am a totally different human being now than I was then. I have matured a ton. You can see that hairline has proven that. No, I'm just kidding. I've had the same hairline my whole life. I'm a totally different human being than I was in 2024. And, by December, I had basically gotten through all of the problems and things that I sort of proclaimed and felt like I had. I feel, bear with me, setting up my tripod. I feel like a big part of me in 2024, oh geez, let's see if we can set this up. I feel like a big part of me and my growth in 2024 was mental, emotional, physical. Obviously, I got in great shape. And it was essentially, I would consider, the most important year of my life. I think that if I did not go through that pain, that suffering, and that sort of traumatic experience, I never would have matured and became a man. I think that, truthfully, if I'm being honest, it's a necessary evil. I think it's something that you just kind of need in life, is a little bit of suffering and a little bit of pain. I still have some things that bother me and get to me, but overall now, to be honest, it's I'm at peace, And so, December 2024, I had basically an amazing Christmas. It was beautiful. I was very present. I was with my family, and no anxiety attacks, none of that stuff. So at this point, I had bought the LLC for the brand, and it was originally going to be called Valiant Apparel. And so I bought all these shirts, and we went to get the trademark for Valiant, and it was taken. So I was like, shit, okay, let's see, what can we come up with? And it was 3 a.m. I woke up random, middle of the night, and I was thinking about, this low point in my life, the children that I want to have one day. And I was like, I've always wanted a kid named Arthur Lucius Nielsen, Lucius being their middle name. And so I was like, wait, what about like Luxius Apparel? So I look it up, and it was taken. And I was like, crap. So I was like, okay, what about Lux? Lux also means light in Latin. That's the same as Lucius, if you don't know that. But I've always loved that. So I looked up Lux clothing, and it was taken. And I was like, okay, what if I put them together? And I said it out loud, and I said Luxius. And I was like, you know what? It sounds like luxurious. Both the words mean light. This is perfect. This is legitimately perfect. And I don't know if this is straight. I don't know if I'm straight or not. I know I'm straight. So I'm like, okay, that's the name. So I looked it up. Doesn't exist. Swedish light bulb company has the same name, and that's why they have the .com. So Luxius.org is our company's website. And so I was like, okay, that's going to be it. And so I commissioned an artist, bought the trademark, bought the copyright, and we printed all these shirts in the end of 2024. So we were going to launch on my birthday, January 20th of 2025. And I went to this print shop, local print shop in Illinois, and they misprinted every single shirt. I bought 250 shirts, and they misprinted everything. So I put about $2,000 into these t-shirts, and now they were defects. So I had to abandon the idea of releasing on that day. And it was tragic. It sucked. It was brutal. It was a big dagger to the heart. And I was like, well, whatever we got to do, we got to figure this out. So I had a bunch of stress and anxiety for basically the first time since my breakup the year prior. I was having anxiety attacks again. My heart rate was getting up into scary places and it was freaking me out. And I had a bunch of anxiety. And honestly, this is, today is May. It's May 5th. It's May 5th right now, 2026. So as I'm filming this, and I had the last anxiety attack that I've had last year in April, which was I had dedicated the day to April 24th. That was going to be our launch day. And I had an anxiety attack a few days prior just because of all the pressure. It was a ton of stress, ton of pressure. And so we launched the brand. And day one of the launch, I think we sold like 15 shirts. And mind you, I had about 150 shirts on hand. I was talking to a bunch of people, my clients, my friends, relatives, people at the gym. Oh, I'm going to buy a shirt, all this stuff. And, our price point is up there, but everything is made in the US. I also donate 10% of proceeds to charity. And so, we're charging $60 for a shirt. And so there's a lot of people that were butthurt about the $60 shirt. But that's just the price that it has to be at due to math and calculations and based on donations, taxes, the cost of the product itself, the cost of the print, all that stuff. So I had about 150 shirts and I sold about 15 of them day one. And so it was kind of something where I had to be happy. 15 people wanted to support my business, support my dream. And, I was like, all right, we got to move forward from here. And so basically just kind of started reaching out to different artists and, testing out certain designs, certain samples of clothing. And, the past year since we launched the brand has been a huge journey of growth, just learning about business, running a company, marketing, doing in-person events, being the brand, person that I am as far as like always wearing it. I don't wear other clothes anymore. I only wear my brand. I'm even wearing my brand's sweatpants right now, aside from my top, which stinks. It's like sometimes I want to wear other stuff, but my mindset is if I want to wear something and I can't make it, then I won't wear it. So then I have to find a way to make it. So I love my product. I think it's incredible. I think everybody who has bought stuff thinks it's incredible. We have a ton of repeat buyers. So we just crossed the 1 year threshold last week and we had our highest sales to date, which was awesome. So it's just a matter of, growing the company and, figuring it all out. But my life has kind of reached a point where I kind of look in the mirror and I'm very happy with the man that I've become. There's still certain things that are missing and not necessarily in my life that I think I could benefit from. There's a small sense of lacking, but I don't feel like empty anymore. I'm just kind of on my purpose, and I feel like I've reached a point where I've become the person that the younger version of me would have looked up to. Just as a fitness coach, as a personal trainer, as a business owner, and just all the things that I've been doing behind the scenes that nobody sees. All of the friends and the circle that I have, the community that I've built, and just sort of the journey that I'm on. I'm like, you know what? I fully embraced who I was in 2024. I was posting all sorts of nerdy stuff and getting in touch with my inner child and playing more video games and doing things like that. And I feel like personally, the past 2 years, now that I'm 26, I went from a boy to a man, and 2024, I always say it was, a peak of my life. It was the lowest point and sequentially basically the highest point I had reached. But now it's just onward and upward. Look at that hair. It's crazy. It's just onward and upward. It's a process. And, I think that I still have a lot of things that I want to do with my life. Like right now, I got into investing. I got into, I'm putting funds into retirement. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. I have a huge announcement that I'm going to announce soon, that, I could say here, but I still need to gatekeep, unfortunately, even though that, there's probably not a lot of people that are going to see this video or watch this, but I have a big plan with the business and, a big move that's going to basically change my entire life. But can't say that yet. So keep in tune on social media. But I've reached a point where it's pretty much self-sufficient. I wake up, I have my purpose, I go and I train people, I help out people, getting fit and get in shape and get ripped and jacked and strong and all the beautiful things with it. I go, I work out, I take care of myself, and then I focus on the brand. And when I don't have any of that stuff going on, I'm playing video games or doing some nerdy stuff that I like doing, spending time with people that I love. And everybody in my close circle now are people I actually want to be around and people that I want to grow with. And, being able to look at that at 26, I thought I would never be at this point. I thought I would never have my own business. I, never thought that I would have as close friendships as I do. Last 2 years, 2024 brought to me a human being that I'm extremely close with. And a best friend and a brother that I never thought I would have, and I'm extremely grateful for him. He's been through a lot with me too. And, I never thought I would make another best friend at age 24 or 25, So I'm just extremely grateful for the position that I am in life. And I'm just sort of moving forward. And I was like, you know what, this is where I need to start documenting, because I have this hunch, I have this little pit in my stomach that's not a negative, it's like a fire. And I'm just like, this next year, 2 years is going to be extravagant levels of growth, probably more than what I had in 2024 in terms of success, finances, hopefully romance and relationships. Like, that's the one thing I'm missing right now. And, I'm not necessarily on dating apps or in the dating scene or really dating anybody at the moment. Kind of just playing God and hoping that, he can hook a brother up. But, that's really the last piece to the puzzle. And I feel like then the game has been set, essentially, for me to do everything that I want to do, which is become a parent, become a father, become a leader of a household. And I'm just looking forward to that. It's the last sort of piece of the puzzle, I feel. And I feel ready for a relationship. I feel emotionally available for a relationship. I have not had any crazy hoe phases or stories like that where I'm going out and doing a bunch of things. I've just been kind of keeping on my purpose and on my mission. And I think that that's a standout, character trait of mine. And, whoever decides to tag along with me on this journey, I hope that they're ready, because it's going to be a hell of a ride. And, in the meantime, I'm just kind of using you guys and, my platform as my partner in this process. And so, it's been a long video. It's 17 minutes. I can see it, but I wanted to just apologize for leaving again. And I'm promising now I really, really, really need and want to stay. So I want to keep on posting. If I do not, please harass me and message me on Instagram. And I'm just looking forward to the next, 2 years of my life, what's in store, and for the growth and things that I get to look forward to, where the brand's going to go, where I'm going to go, and, how many people I get to tag along with me. So I appreciate you guys for listening. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Your support means the world. And if you want to buy some sick clothes and support a brother like me, Luxius.org. I'll throw the link in the description. Follow the Instagram and my Instagram right here. And yeah, stay tuned. I'll be posting a lot more soon. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day or night whenever you watch this, and have yourselves a damn good one.